remember when they took our Jack into hospital. Ambulance came around 9 in the morning. They had to give him oxygen and everything. He was struggling to breathe. I'd said to him we should call the hospital or 111 a few days before. I'd said he'd probably got it. But he just said, rubbish. Where would I have got it from? I thought, well, I don't know. But you've got it. Or something like it. But you can't tell Jack anything. Never could. If he says he hasn't got it, he hasn't got it. That's all there is to it. I just tried to keep out of his way and hope that I didn't get it too. Because that's the difficult thing. If you can't go out, can't go to the kids, how do you self-isolate in your own home when the person you're living with tells you it's rubbish and that they're well? When the ambulance came, all the neighbours came out. Like it was a show being put on for him. Not like it was my husband being taken away, never to come back for all they knew. Because you wonder, don't you? When the ambulance comes and takes him off. Is this the last time you'll see this house? Is this the last time I'll see him? Because you can't go and see them in the hospital. And he was barely able to speak when they took him away. Not that he was much for conversation to begin with. So it's not like he'd be ringing me or I'd be ringing him. That was it. Or could be. So many people dying of it, and him having left it so late. That could be the last time he comes in or out of that door. And I realised that. And I thought, it's not easy to say this. And I know you'll think I'm cruel, but I thought, thank God for that. I know you shouldn't be happy that there's a virus killing lots of people. But I was, I suppose. Or at least grateful it had got him. Oh, I felt a great weight lift off my shoulders. Jack was a horrible man to live with. He made my life a misery. And now he was gone. And I hoped to God he'd never come back. He wasn't one of them wife beaters. Not really. I mean, he had a temper on him. Only if you really provoked him. And I knew better than to do that. It was more like psychological torture with him. He were a bully. A mean, nasty, controlling bully. There, I've said it. Finally. Oh, Janie would be proud of me. She said I should acknowledge it. Leave him for years. That's why she never comes round to the house. His temper, his ways. And she's his daughter. I'd never say it myself. I don't know why. If it were because I was scared of him, or scared to leave him, or acknowledging what he was would just make me sound like an idiot for staying with him. I just didn't. I stayed in the house with him, being careful about everything I did, so as not to annoy him. Always watching my tongue, never saying anything. Turning Coronation Street off because he didn't like it anymore. Not watching some of the other soaps I like because he'd go on about them and I'd have to listen to him and couldn't disagree or he'd get worse. And I'd get worried. The news was always the worst. Watch it to get angry and moan and complain. And you couldn't tell him to just switch it off, not make himself cross, or you just make it worse. All the small things he did, all the time. Things like that. To have control and be controlling, Janie said. I won't say what he used to say about my clothes, my friends, my family. I'll only get upset. But you can see how I'm dressed. It's not as if I've got a good wardrobe. And I've hardly had anyone calling me, asking me how I was, until I started calling them. And then they were like, "Oh, Carol, haven't heard from you in ages. To what do I owe the pleasure?" "Oh, well, they've taken Jack to hospital. I can call you and talk to you now without him listening in and telling me what's wrong with you, why he doesn't like you, and why I shouldn't speak to you." Not that I said that. Not at first. Not till we really got chatting. And then it all came out. You see them talking on TV about the ones who've died. A good person, loved by all, taken too soon. We don't know how we'll cope. We miss him. They all say the same things. You'd think it's only killing good people. That night after he'd gone, I sat in front of that TV and I put on Coronation Street, and it was bliss. I mean, it's not as good as it was, but it was just so good to just sit there, watching it. Peaceful. Such a blessed relief. And then the call came a week later. He'd been in intensive care, on a ventilator. It was touch and go whether he'd pull through. "Mrs. Canning," they said, "we've got some good news for you. He's off the ventilator. He's breathing unassisted. He'll make a full recovery." My heart sank. He's back home now. Been back almost a week. Still not properly right. He's up in bed, recuperating. Moaning about the food. Wrong time. Too salty. Too much. I'm wasting good food. Too little. Am I trying to starve him? He's physically weak, but mentally, he's back to what he was. But that's the thing. His body's not right yet. He's got a bit of an infection coming on. His temperature's up. I should call the hospital. They said to call immediately if he's not well, take him back in. But he hates me calling the hospital, or the doctors, or anyone like that. Doesn't think we should make a fuss. So, if he has got something, and he dies before he gets in, well, no one will think anything. They'll know it's not down to me that we didn't call him. Not down to me that he's dead. I've got no choice. If I don't do it soon, it'll be too late. He'll be better. I've got a window of opportunity. I'm not killing him. I'm just helping him on his way.